Please summarize your chosen approach to family therapy.
Solution-focused therapy originally developed from the strategic therapy. It is based on a postmodern and constructivist approach and greatly appreciates the worldview of the client. As a therapist, our aim is to work with the skills and strengths that our clients already possess so that we can build on those strengths to better find solutions for our clients. The theory was developed by Steve DeShazer, a creative musician and artist who was heavily influenced by Milton Erickson when he worked with him at the Mental Research Institute. DeShazer stressed the importance of solutions as opposed to problems. He also believed that change is inevitable in life. Along with his wife, Insoo Kim Berg, they collaborated to expand on the theory and opened the Bree Family Therapy Center. Another major contributor to the theory is Bill O'Hanlon, who also worked with Erickson at the MRI. He prefers to refer to solution-oriented therapy as possibility therapy, and also stressed the importance of focusing on solutions in therapy. Solution-focused therapists contend that people view the world through language that is constructed of social, historical, and cultural context. In this sense, reality is based on an individual's experiences as well as their observations. In other words, there is no real truth, just the individual's belief of what is true. Solution-focused therapy is similar to the MRI approach in the belief that families continually use patterns that don't work, and seemingly they get trapped in these maladaptive patterns. The family therapist works to guide the family into creating new approaches, using the strengths that they currently possess. Only small changes are required for the family to make progress, and the cause of the problem is not a concern in solution-focused therapy. It is only the solution that we work toward. We believe every family has a desire to change.
What makes your chosen approach distinct from other approaches to family therapy?
Well, unlike many approaches, solution-focused therapy really concentrates on understanding the family through active listening. And unlike psychodynamic and Bowen approaches, the focus is on the present as opposed to the past, so that we therapists can gain a greater understanding of how the family views the current situation. The family itself is used as a resource in implementing changes to family patterns. The therapist encourages family members to make small steps towards change and notes any progress towards that change.
Can you describe any key interventions associated with this approach?
Yes. DeShazer had several ideas pertaining to the model's key interventions. He proposed the following. For one, if it isn't broken, don't fix it. If it works, do more of it. He also said if it's not working, do something different. And that small steps can lead to big changes. He believed the solution is not necessarily related to the problem, and that language for solution development is different from that needed to describe a problem. And most importantly, no problem happens all the time. There are always exceptions that can be utilized. And the future is both created and negotiable. There are several key interventions used in solution-focused therapy. For instance, During the first session with the client, the therapist would employ the formula first session task in order to increase hope and motivation in the client. This helps them to quickly identify their strengths and resources to figure out what really works for them. The therapist can suggest to the client that they make a list before their next session of things they would not want to change during the therapeutic process. The therapist can also use different types of questions, such as solution-generated questions, which are basically hypothetical questions that are used to help the client look toward the future. Before doing this, the therapist would obtain consent, would adapt each question to the client, and introduce and define the miracle questions. This adds mystery and asks the client to describe what is different. There are 4 types of solution-generated questions, such as the miracle question, which the therapist asks the client, imagine all your problems are gone right now. What would be different? Another solution-generated question includes the crystal ball question, in which therapists ask the clients, just imagine in front of you a crystal ball, and you are able to take a glimpse into your future. What do you see? There is also the magic wand question. The therapist asks, imagine you had a magic wand that could just make all your problems go away. What would be different? And of course, there's the time machine question, in which the therapist asks, imagine you can go back in time and all your problems are non-existent. What would be different? There are also other types of questions geared towards creating change. One is the scaling questions, which is used to assist the client in setting goals by identifying adaptive activities and behaviors. Presuppositional questions increase the client's hope and encourages them to look toward a future without the current problem. An example is, what will you do to celebrate when the problem is resolved? Coping questions also increase the client's hope when they are feeling discouraged from the lack of progress. You might want to ask the client how they have been coping with a situation. Echoing is a technique used by therapists to mimic the words of the client. Exceptions are used to highlight instances in which the family is interacting or behaving appropriately to discount the client's belief that things can't change. Another approach is the second order change. The goal is to change the organization of the family and alter the frequency and duration of unwanted events. In order to encourage the family to participate, the therapist gives the family clues to their behavior. This is one of the major techniques in solution-focused therapy. The therapist also uses techniques such as compliments and encouragement. These techniques are used to complement the client's prior progress to motivate them to work on homework or family tasks. The therapist can tell the client who has previously made progress, I am so impressed in how the family came together and completed the assigned 500-piece puzzle. Another commonly used intervention is known as skeleton keys. Skeleton keys are used to uncover a multitude of family dilemmas and what was effective in solving those past dilemmas.
So what drew you to this approach personally?
Well, let's see. The approach is brief. It ranges from 1 to 10 sessions, but it can be achieved in as little as 1 session, with about 6 sessions being the average. Just sometimes clients don't have time or the financial means to devote themselves to lengthy therapy. So solution-focused therapy provides a shorter and more cost-effective avenue for these clients seeking therapy. As a novice counselor, I personally like the idea of the use of teams. This way, I have the ability to collaborate with other seasoned professionals to gain different perspectives and obtain new ideas in helping families change. I also find that I am drawn to the goal of motivating family members to think differently about the situations and therefore behave differently. The model extends beyond the therapeutic process.
And how would you describe this approach in one sentence?
In one sentence, wow. Okay, so solution-focused therapy, I would say, is a brief form of therapy that focuses on change by relying on the client's strengths and available resources to empower the clients to achieve their goals.
Okay, thank you.